Hi, I'm Dr. Willie Jolley.
And this is Dee.
We're the authors of the book, Make Love,
Make Money,
Make It Last, 10 Secrets to Shape a Great Marriage. And we want to welcome you to this week's show. We're going to do a special show. Now, we're going to have, for the IG folks, we've got to say something we said earlier. We want to invite everybody to join us every Monday night, and we want to encourage you to continue to tell your friends and your family members about our show, as well as about our book, Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, as well as the fact that we are going to be doing a number of events that we want you to be involved in. And also, one more thing, we are asking if you are a couple and you would like to help us in an effort we're doing with a television production company who wants to see how we interview and mentor couples on television, and you feel you could find some room or some area or some space where your relationship could be improved, we want you to reach out to us at info@williejolly.com, info@williejolly.com, so we can then schedule a time where we have an interview with you on Zoom. One more thing, our son, Delatoro McNeil II, had dinner with us the other night, and he said, look, y'all need to do a seminar and an event.
So he got on us about that. So we're working on that.
We're going to do an event.
And the nugget is going to be attack the problem, not each other.
That's right. So the nugget from the...
And then how to do it. Which comes each other. A challenge, and there are actually steps as to how to do that. So that's what we're working on. As soon as we get a date, we'll let you know.
Don't attack each other. Hang up on the problem, and that's what we do.
And how to do it.
All right. Let's get going on tonight's subject. Many of you might have heard that Sylvester Stallone recently got a divorce from his wife after 25 years of marriage. And we thought about, isn't that interesting that after 25 years of marriage, then they get a divorce? And why was that? And what is the trend? And what is the tendency that we are seeing come up in a lot of folks? Well, here's what we learned. There's some statistics that we learned. One is that we know that 50% of people in America who get married divorce. That's first statistic. The average age or average length of time for a marriage to last before getting divorces is 7 years. Okay, that's the average divorce place. So we are way over that. We are going on 38 years. And we also have another statistic. We haven't had an argument in over 35 years. So we wondered, why are these people breaking up well, we know the people in 7 years, as we've talked about that. But what happens in these what they call long marriages that make them break up? And you got some statistics from that the women.
You're just jumping all around.
Oh,
Lord have mercy.
You didn't want me to bring that up yet?
Just go ahead and talk, sweetheart.
I thought you wanted me to bring that up. You don't?
Just go ahead and talk. Whatever you want to talk about. Go ahead, sweetheart. You do. Go right ahead. I was sharing information with you, and you sharing just doing a great job.
All right, okay. All right, go ahead. You got the research. Go ahead. Why long-term marriages end in divorce?
Okay, so let's go with the stats. Okay, 50% of marriages in the United States fail at about the 7-year mark. Okay, that's called a short-term marriage.
Short-term marriage. Okay. All right. Mm-hmm.
Now, it could stretch to a short-term marriage, could be 10 years. So there isn't an exact number. They average 7, but it could be up to 10. Now, it also depends upon the state that the divorce is in. I know this is like too much of it. Depends upon the state that the divorce is in, right? So
the actual
what
province,
constitutes
the place,
the state in the United,
I didn't know what you meant by the state of the marriage.
In terms of where the person is married, is it Florida,
geographical,
California? What the laws of the state what the state laws say becomes important, because the next step is how long the marriage has lasted impacts who gets what and the division of property.
Really?
Yeah. So okay. So we got what short-term marriages are. A long-term marriage is considered at least 20 years. So for Sylvester Stallone and his wife, and she was the one who initiated the divorce, they had a long-term marriage because they were married for like 25 years. So then you've got this gray area, which is, okay, so what happens then if you're married 11 to 19 years? I know this is in the weeds, which I absolutely love. So now I've been married for 11 years and 19 years. Well, everything's kind of up for grabs in that area. That's called the kind of gray area. But then from there, I was like, well, that's a great area. What about a gray divorce, which is something that we had talked about previously, which is, well, what is a gray divorce? Well, a gray divorce is one where people over the age of 50 are getting divorced.
Wow.
People over the age of 50 are getting divorced, right?
Yeah.
And it's occurring in increasing numbers. Then the stat that Willie gave out earlier, which was that in these situations, like with Stallone's wife, 66% of those older couples divorcing after 50 are women. The women are initiating the divorce.
Wow.
Any of y'all find that interesting?
I find it interesting. I find it very interesting. But why? Does that mean? Okay.
Now, the reasons for divorce when a couple has been together for a long time, 20 years or more, are different than when they divorce for less than that. Isn't that something?
Now we're getting to the
So that's a different set of research. I was like, wow. Now, it's the order of the reasons that become important. Now, for those who've been married for what they call a long time, that would end up being the great divorce because they've been married for a long time. That suggests that they're probably 50 years of age or older, and that the number one reason for divorce is abuse.
The number one reason is abuse.
Abuse.
All right. That's now, for both.
No. Just for people who have been married a long time in the great divorce.
I see.
Okay. So it doesn't mean necessarily physical abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse. Okay. And then next is an addiction. Somebody's struggling with something. Is it pornography?
Ooh.
Is it drugs? Is it gambling? You know, so you've been married a long time. You can't get it organized. You can't get it together. What are the primary causes? Some kind of abuse, some kind of addiction. And then what I thought would be number one, which was the emptiness syndrome. Okay.
I thought that would be it for sure.
The kids now, they're grown, and I look up at you and I have nothing to talk to you about.
Right.
We were talking about the kids and school and soccer and all the activities and how we're going to pay for college. Now they're gone and we have nothing to talk about.
We don't know each other.
Right. So you've got abuse, you've got addiction, you've got emptiness syndrome, and then just kind of growing apart. You don't have anything in common, which suggests you don't have date night. You're not working at maintaining a relationship even when the kids are at home, because now you really have to find time to work at developing the relationship, and you don't do that. Right. And then intimacy. So intimacy is not even at the top of the list.
Right. So one of the situations we found or want to share with people is this. A couple who had been married over 25 years. The husband was sloppy. He was a pack rat. The wife kept badgering, nagging him to clean up his man cave. He did not want to do that because that was his space. One day, he invited his buddies over for a football game. The wife, in the middle of the football game, comes down and lashes out at him about this nasty place and how could he dare be, how he should be ashamed to have people in there. And she does a terrific job of embarrassing him in front of his friends. He says after that moment, I would never have my friends over for a game again. I'm ending this. So the next week, he and the friends decided, well, we'll go. He said to friends, we're going to go somewhere else to watch the game. So they went to a local tavern, bar, whatever. And they started watching the games at this local tavern bar. They weren't the only people at that tavern bar. There were other people. One of the people who was a regular at that tavern bar was a very attractive young lady. This guy, whose wife had lashed out at him, and this attractive young lady became friends, eventually becoming an item. And
what does that mean, an item? What is that?
Well, they were closer to friends. He was closer to her than just a casual friend. And so this went on for a number of years.
Was there sex or not?
No. But there was.
According to who?
According to him.
Okay.
But there was emotional involvement. Sneaking around, texting each other, having early morning conversations. How you doing today?
And no sex? Do you believe that?
Well, that's what he told me. So
I said, do you believe that? You're trying to be non-committal with me.
Well, I don't think the guy would lie to me. But the wife finally found out. And so she, brings it up to him, and he says, I'm cutting it off, but I'm shutting it down. But he didn't. And it goes on for another 2 years. But it's sneaky now. Finally, she calls the woman, gets the number somehow, and says, and the woman's married, but her husband is jacked up or something. So the wife and the husband who has had this issue, they called me and said they want to have a conversation. And that's when I started mentoring and coaching how to get through this. I shared all of that.
And how's it going?
Well, they've been married now over 35 years, but it's not going well.
Because
the wife is mad. But she created this. But she mad, and he said, I'm sorry. Now, I did tell him he had to apologize. He acknowledged, accepted, apologized. 3 things you got to do. Acknowledge, accept that you made a mistake.
Acknowledge that the situation actually happened. Or
Acknowledge
exists.
that this situation exists.
Mm-hmm.
Accept that there was not good, and then apologize.
That the behavior was inappropriate.
Correct.
Okay.
And he did that. But the wife says that's not good enough.
Well, what does she want to do? Throw himself on the sword?
I don't know. She does not believe what you just didn't believe, that he had not had sex. I said, well, what would have happened if he had had sex? But he stopped it, and it's over. Now y'all got to rebuild trust. But she won't allow that. So it's been, she asked him to leave. He left. She asked him to come back. He's back. It's been just a mess. That could have been avoided. She never embarrassed him in front of his friends. He had never had any issues, had never been outside the house in 25 years.
So what's the
lesson?
Communication?
The lesson is communication, how she said it, 1. 2 is that this was his little bit of space. Let him have his little bit of space, but she wanted to be in control.
Let him be sloppy.
And that little bit of space in his little man cave. Let him be sloppy. And that's his little space.
So where are they now?
Well, I haven't talked to them recently. I don't know where the latest iteration is, but I can say that I am praying for them. Mm. And hopefully I'm going to reach out to them, see if they want to be one of the couples that we will interview. Mm. So interesting. I brought that up because there were so many lessons in here. One, I asked them to have a date night.
Probably not.
No. Mm-hmm. Second, I asked them if they held hands. Mm. No. And then I asked them about sex. Now, he's older now. He's almost 70. Mm. And everything's not working like it used to work.
So he needs some help.
Need a little hit. The brother needs a little hit. So I told him some things that can give him some hit. And so whether they have engaged in that, but during this process, her anger has been bitter. Her words have been mean.
Do you think that's unusual for her or not?
I don't know. I don't know if they're mean because of this experience or just mean because that's how she is. But I do know that he has been less than that meanness made her not attractive to him. Okay. Physically. Okay. He told me that. And he wasn't attracted to her sexually. This is a mess. And it started as a simple lack of respect. And so what we want to encourage people to do is this. If you are in a marriage and if there are issues, we want you to go back and do some things. I told them if you had the 4F conversation about the sloppiness, or if he had said to her after the fact that she had embarrassed him, let's talk about this. First, be friendly. I'm not mad, but I want to tell you, you hurt my feelings. Be friendly, then be frank about your feelings. You hurt my feelings tonight when you embarrassed me in front of my friends. Then he could have said, you're friendly, then frank, then fair. Why did you do that? And she told me why she did it. I asked her. She said, I kept telling them to clean it up. I've been telling them a long time to clean it up. Clean this mess up. I'm sick of this mess.
How does that work? It never worked.
How did that work for her? Right. So be fair.
She was nagging.
She was nagging. What did you learn about nagging, Dee? Tell them about nagging.
He told me not to nag.
When we were first married, early on, said it's not gonna work. Don't do it.
He said that doesn't work, and I'm not slow. So I was like, I had to come up with a different strategy to get you to do the things that I want you to do that you might not be so inclined to do automatically. And that was always in reference to making up the bed and putting your clothing away. And
did I eventually get there?
You did.
And what was it?
Gentle persuasion on my part.
And what did you do to persuade me?
Sex.
Oh! That made it work. I clean up that room. I make up that bed every day. Every day. I've been doing that now for over 35, 36, 37 years. I make up that bed every morning. Throw them little pillows up there and fluff it all up.
So,
I hope y'all get this lesson.
We attack the problem.
Yes.
And not each other.
That's right.
But there are some specific strategies to go with that.
Yes.
All
right. So
poetry locks. 44.
Poetry locks. 44. So listen. I'm saying to everybody that the great divorce, having these, and one of the things you said is that people take each other for granted after years of being together. They take each other for granted. They don't do the little things. They just say, "Oh, they'll be here." And we don't do that.
Tomorrow is not promised.
We do not do that. We are a team. We work together. And we are looking out for each other. And I respect. Who said it to us? Who said it to us? who said it to us just this week, said Willie loves. Oh, it was yesterday, Stephen, when he said when he introduced us to June, he said, "This is a real couple who inspire me because Willie openly says I love her more now than I did when I first met her."
That is very nice that he would remember that.
He said this is something that is so incredible that he talks about loving her more now than he did when he first met. Every day getting better, every year getting better, because we keep the energy, we keep the fire, we keep the excitement. It's an ongoing process. So that's one of the things, is not taking each other for granted. You know, abuse, you know, going back over those points, abuse at any level is not good. 7 years, early addiction, marriage, short marriage, long marriage, abuse.
But for long marriages, why do they break up? This is what we're talking about now. Abuse, addictions, emptiness syndrome.
I bet it must. And when you say abuse, it's probably verbal abuse, because if it's physical, mental, mental. But if it's physical abuse,
you wouldn't be there. Probably not.
You probably would not be there that long. Okay.
And then lack of intimacy is further down the list.
Ooh, lack of intimacy. Yeah.
That close communication is further down the list.
Wow.
Okay. Now, according to AARP, we're running out of time, so we haven't gotten to the general causes of, for less than 20 years, what the primary causes are. But according to AARP research, that's what I want to say, that the women initiate the divorces. We said earlier, in 66% of the time. Yeah. And 15% of the time, the couples jointly initiate divorce.
Wow.
So in the majority of cases, then you have to say that's a whole nother rabbit hole. Why is it that the women are initiating the divorce?
Wow.
And they say there's more to life than this. So we're going to have to continue this really next week. We're really going to have to continue.
Terrence, you're right. This one has got a lot of parts and pieces to it. All right, there's a lot of pieces to this. So for folks, next week we're going to do part 2 of this. So y'all want to tell everybody to tune in. And if you haven't seen part 1, go to see part 1, because we're going to have more detail, more conversation about this, and how you can make this great divorce not happen. Right. How you can keep the fires burning. How you can keep the
part 2. Yeah. And the research is actually coming from a lot of different places. So we have AARP, we've got the American Psychological Association, a couple others. So I've gathered information, and some of it overlaps.
Really?
But the order of the problems is what is interesting.
Wow. Wow. Well, I ain't leaving you. Oh, no.
It would be too expensive for him.
No, but beyond that, I'm not leaving you because I got the 5 for you.
Because you love me and I love you.
I got the 5 for her. She turns.
Okay. Let's summarize.
All right, let's summarize. Do you have a dose of D at all?
I do not have a dose.
I
do not have a dose of D. But what I can say, I didn't write down. But what I can say is that we want to focus on. This is the beginning of the fourth quarter. And so we want to focus on financial independence. Now, what does that mean? Where are all your monies? Have you exchanged information? Do you have as your, even if you're not a couple and you're single, how are your affairs in order, ongoing? Who can be of support to you if you can't take care of yourself? So, oh my God, something happens. I was reading this article and they were saying you should have an ER folder. I thought, an ER folder? An emergency room. Something happens, you pass out, you fall out, or like Stephen was saying, the friend who was like his LDLs were, he called and the doctor said go immediately, and he ended up with triple bypass. Where are your affairs? Where's your insurance? Right?
Yeah.
What's the closest hospital you would go to? The things that we don't just normally think of, we need with this time of the year is a great time to organize and get your affairs in order.
Yeah. Wow. By the way, y'all notice you got big gap glasses today.
Look these same glasses I had on last week?
I don't know that. Sometimes you had to have glasses with the round one and the square.
I didn't have those.
And then you have the glasses that are red, and then you have the glasses that are yellow. Every week is something different.
Yes, dear.
Because you're cute, though.
Thank you, dear.
Woo, she turns me on. Okay, so let me go over the points of interest that we
what we're looking for. We're going to put it on, I guess, IG and
we're going to put it on all
Facebook,
social media.
whatever, that we need a couple couples.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so first of all, we want to say that for everybody, if you do not have the book, Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, we want to encourage you to go to jolleymarriage.com and get the book. We will autograph it, and we recommend you get 2 copies, one for you and one for your significant other, okay? 2 copies of the book. Second thing is that if you want to really do some improvement and some repair on your relationship, we want you to go to jolleymarriage.com/events for our relationship repair series that we did. It's a 5-part series with communications, relationships, sexual relations, financial relations, family matters, and blended families, plus a 6th bonus session, which is the 11 biggest mistakes that people make in marriage and how to fix them. Okay, so jolleymarriage.com/events. If you want to know about the events we're going to do, where we're going to allow people to come and be part of it in live and in hybrid, info@williejolly.com. Just info@williejolly.com. Send an email to info@williejolly.com. And if you want to be part of our studio audience, not our studio, our couples for our television broadcast that we're working on, where we're
putting together a pilot.
That's what he's saying. Because we've had some television producers since the Today Show who really like what we seem to be able to do. So we want to interview. They want to see how we interview a couple. So maybe Greg, maybe Linda and Greg, maybe y'all might want to be part of that. We're just going to talk about something that might be of interest and see how we do. And then Terrence, you can maybe have somebody who will come along with you, and y'all will do it. I'm not sure. Reginald Lawrence, Yvonne Williams, Sherry Elliott, just hit us up and say, you know what? We open to that. This is good. Malika Starr, we love you. Lynette Major, James Anderson, Willie Larkin, whoever, his son. They bought books for his son and his daughter-in-law. Mm-hmm. So we're looking for couples. It's probably going to be about a 15-minute talking about something in your marriage.
Whatever of interest to you.
That could be improved, okay? So info@williejolly.com. Info@williejolly.com. All right, so we're going to come back next week, go back to this great divorce, how to not do it. And then remember that in the book, there's a chapter. We talked about it the other day. At one of our marriage events, there's a chapter for people not yet married. For those who are not yet married, there's a chapter for those folks. So we want to encourage you to get the book if you're not married. Okay, Reginald said we talked about the age difference discussion last week. Well, maybe you want to jump on with that.
We want to talk about that.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
We have an age difference. We're a decade apart.
Yeah, we got an age difference. So you know what? Hey, we'll talk about it. All right. And Terrence said, you don't want me. Well, Karis, you just keep showing up every Monday night and sending me stuff during the week. Oh, what was that email he sent me today? Oh, I got to read this before I go. Terrence sent me a wonderful email. Let me read it right now. Terrence.
So, Reginald, how do we contact you?
All right, here we go. Here's the quote. I got it.
Oh.
Terrence wrote. Oh, Reginald, you let us know how to reach you. I don't know that, but Terrence, email, please. A husband and wife must function like 2 wings on the same bird. They must work together or the marriage will never get off the ground.
Well, that's good.
Isn't that good?
That's a good visual, too.
Yeah, that's good, Terrence. We want y'all to work together, fly together, soar together, and we want you to have a great one. So, all right, we are out. Our time is up. Let's see. We have had a great time with you today.
I've enjoyed, and I really enjoyed the researching of the information.
Part 2 next week. So this is Dr. Willie Jolley.
And this is Taylor-Jolley.
And we want to thank you. All right, let's get our music on the way out from my jazz album.
Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you.